when it comes to the coronavirus, we have seen a lack of cooperation between nations, especially with Trump's withdrawal from the World Health Organization. Do you expect nations to remain in this state of self-interest, or do you expect the return of international cooperation?
I think this, of all the questions that I read before doing this Zoom this evening, I thought this was the most interesting, because we went through a phase of investing a lot of hope in multilateralism, in multilateral diplomacy, in big conferences, mainly around the environment. And this very much reflects the age in Britain of Tony Blair, and in the United States of Bill Clinton, and to some extent George W. Bush. I think that age has gone, because multilateral diplomacy has been seen to be not very effective, because its dirty secret is that when you go to a conference and you sit around a great table and you think you're going to have a wonderful diplomatic in actual fact, what you say and do at that conference is directed by those who give you your instructions back in your national capital. So lurking behind the exterior of multilateralism has always been, if you like, the hard truth of national interest. What I thought was interesting about the eruption of coronavirus on the scene was the extent to which, I'm not here talking about governments, I'm talking about peoples now, I think populations, looked to their nation to find an answer to the pandemic. It wasn't as if we all rushed off to the WHO in Geneva, far from it. It wasn't that even inside the European Union, it was not the case that the EU was able to get together with a common approach to how do you tackle COVID-19. And even now, today, with 4 months experience of this pandemic, policy on how you tackle it, how you come out of it, how you may have to go back into lockdown again, is still being devised on a national basis. There is not an EU COVID-19 policy, which you might have expected. And it says something, I think, I'm not saying whether this is a good thing or a bad thing, it says something about how when people are really in trouble, when there is a risk of disease and death, you don't look to an international organization for your salvation. You look to your community, you look to your nation, you look to your president, or you look to your prime minister. And I think the last 4 months have demonstrated that. Now, that is not to say that when the worst of all this is over, and I assume it is going to be over, that you won't try and establish better international cooperation on matters like this. But I think the conclusion you have to draw is multilateralism and international cooperation works in the good times. When things are bad or in a crisis, people look to be protected by, how can I put it, by their national borders.